Hi, it's Deborah. Today we're going to work on learning how to create wind impact reports. Wind impact reports are crucial when there's no significant hail damage and you can clearly see that there's wind damage. The past 2 years, we've been collecting wind speed data from personal weather stations, and this data is reported to a company called Weather Underground. To pull this data, you basically just have to start off with a hail impact report. So let's do that. I've already started creating a hail impact report for a property that clearly does not have any hail impacts. And you can see here the very last date that had any sort of hail at ½ inch, that was back in 2017. So nothing in 2018 or 19. But I do have some wind damage. So here's what we're going to do. At the very bottom of a hail impact report, you've got this section called wind observation dates. Every one of these dates is a wind speed day that has a max gust of greater than 50 miles an hour. So to be able to get on this report, this max gust has to be 50 and greater. Now, as a company, we do not police the data that we're receiving from the personal weather station. So if you're not familiar what a personal weather station is, here's what they look like. The sensors are outside the home, usually on top of the roof, and then the control panel is inside and it's collecting the data connected to the internet. All right, so if something happens and the personal weather station has a little hiccup or something like that, it may get a bad reading. So I want to show you the difference between finding data without bad readings, because it's going to skew the average, and data that you can use. So let's take a look at this January 18th date. I'm going to tap there and save the report date of loss. Each time you choose a date of loss, it's refreshing the screen, but it's going to go right back up to the top of the screen, and you'll have to scroll down again. Every one of these represents a personal weather station within a 15-mile radius. This one at 5 p.m. had a hiccup. I mean, it's clearly not 112 miles per hour speed that it's had collected, but maybe it was bumped with something, who knows. But if you compare that data with the other data around the 15-mile radius, you do not see that sort of wind gust at 5 p.m. Okay, so if I had some sort of gust, then I would see it somewhere around in here. So this one is not a date I would use. So I'm going to go back down to the bottom of the report where you see wind observation dates and choose a date that has a maximum gust that is number that it's pretty close to the average gust, like this one on the 10th. Let's compare. So I'm going to tap there to change the date of loss and scroll back down to the section where I see the personal weather stations. Oh, look, we got a plus. We got severe weather warnings on that date. Here you go. So you can see a difference between the previous one and this one. So at 12 a.m., we're getting gusts here at 62 miles an hour around the same time. Yeah, 12 a.m., 53 wind gusts there. And this one is kind of the same pattern, and we've got 53 mile an hour. 50 mile an hour gusts and greater can cause damage. Right, so that's what you're looking for. Now, in order to include these on the report, you must select the ones you want to include. So you've got a checkbox. You can pick and choose any of these that you want to include on the report. All right, I might choose this one as well. I do need to point out that we let you know how far away this personal weather station is compared to the address. So this one's 14.5 miles away. This one's only 3. Okay. Now on the report, I'm going to go back up to the top and notice that we have no section right here that's talking about wind details. So in order to get this section for wind, I have to choose a narrative. You can only choose one. So I can either choose this one that shows 62 mile an hour gusts, but it's 14 miles away, or maybe this one that's close to it, to the property. I think I'll choose this one. I mean, it's still high. So when I select that, now I'm going to look at this section. Now I've got wind details section on my report. Okay, this data right here is just letting you know that there's no hail that was detected on that date. So there's all the information the insurance company or the adjuster needs to know about the wind. And when I send this report by using one of the buttons up at the top.
By the way, the new version of the browser app has a lock report button. Once you lock the report, you then have the 3 options for sending your impact report.
I'm going to download it just so that you can see what this looks like. Now there's our wind details section. There's all the severe weather warnings that occurred that included this property. It's including the storm history, and I chose 5 years of data. And then here's the wind observations that I selected to be on this report. Very easy. You can do this on a mobile app as well. It works exactly the same. To print it, I could have just printed that PDF, or I can send it directly to anyone just by typing in their address. All right, guys, so that's how to create a wind impact report. And by the way, if you want to remove all the details about hail, just tap this checkbox here that says Show Wind Data Only. So now if I scroll down to the bottom, I'm not going to see any word that says hail in this report. It's all wind. So there you have it. Test it out, practice. Remember to do some research. You'll have to look at a few dates to find the one that you need. Thanks a bunch. If you have any questions, call us. We're happy to help you. Adios.